Hey, welcome to the next episode, and today we're joined by Marc from Schema M, one of the leading paid media agencies from Germany. And today we talked about his tips and learnings after spending over 200k a day last Black Friday, Cyber Monday, the most important metrics you should be looking at, and all of the intangibles so you can set yourself for success this Q4. So let's get right into the episode. Welcome to the next episode. Today we're joined by Marc, the CEO of Schema M. So happy to have you here, Marc.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you for the invitation.
All right, it's going to be a fun episode. Today we're going to be talking about Black Friday, Cyber Monday, how to essentially prime your brand and set it up for success for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. So maybe let's just dive right into it. So overall, what are some Facebook ads or media buying trends or things you've seen that are different this year from last year? And then we can dive into some more tactical stuff. So yeah.
So I think that this entire Black Friday, Black Week, Black Month topic is getting more and more strategical in terms of when do you start. Previously, some years ago, the most brands started just Black Friday or just Black Friday, the weekend, and Cyber Monday. Then some years ago, 2 years ago, it was more the thing that that brands would start doing the entire Black Week. And now I see more and more brands doing Black Month or a themed month in their way. And I think that's because of the much higher CPMs in the Black Week and also on Black Friday. And also because during Black Month, Black Week, Black Friday, you're competing with everyone, not only within the brands in your vertical, but with everyone. And I think especially this year, budgets of the consumers are much tighter than they have been in the years before. So you're competing basically with everyone, making advertising, making products, offers, and they have a limited budget and you want them to spend it on your brand. And if they use their budget already and you're starting to promote your offers too late, they might be budget constraints from the consumers. So that's something that we see, that I see, that brands are getting pretty strategic in terms of when to start their promotion phase.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in short, the two main trends you see are basically different from the last couple of years. First of all, you see brands starting the promotion sooner and sooner. First of all, because of CPMs, and also just people are more accustomed to these promotions, that they can extend them a bit more. And second of all, this year, from the consumer side of things, the buying power is not going to be as high. So you're essentially competing with more people for less. Or is there maybe something else?
No, I think these are the reasons. And last year we made that with the first brands, and now a lot more brands do the same strategy. And for those brands, the good thing is also for creative wise, if we speak from a creative perspective, you can have iteration cycles in between. If you're only doing Black Friday, you have to have that creative, that work. You have to have that one shot. If you're on Black Week, you have a bit of iteration, but if you're doing 2 weeks or 3 weeks, then you have much more time to really find the winners and doubling down on the winners, also testing offers and so on. So it's much more, you have a much better time for iterations and iterating to the most successful offer, creative media buying strategy, rather than just having that one shot that needs to really be killing. Otherwise, your entire Q4 is not successful, right? And we have seen that also brand hours are much more chilled during Black Week and Black Friday if they've already done most of their sales 2 weeks before and they are in a safe place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Tactically, do you typically run conversion campaigns, or are you just focusing on retargeting as you get closer to the actual Black Friday?
We are running also cold traffic campaigns or conversion campaigns because I think this is something that I see this year, and probably we made the mistake last year as well, is in the ads manager, you focus on CPO, right? You don't distinguish between new customer and existing customer. The thing is, during Black Week, most brands tend to overspend paid social because they think that their existing customers that they reached via emails, for example, they get them through paid social, but they just overspent there. So what we are focusing on this year is a lot really into customer acquisition cost. So can we buy new customers at a decent customer acquisition cost in that period? If yes, then we will scale. If no, we will leverage the profit through email marketing and backend, and we will not overspend. And I think this is a mistake that like probably 85 or 80% of the market does. They do not distinguish their strategies based on new versus existing customers.
Yeah. Do you run any legion campaigns to kind of like if CPAs are too high to acquire new customers? Do you run legion campaigns? Maybe like try to nurture them via email.
Yeah. So we have done that with brands always before Black Week, and we have done then a VIP sale or something, gave a bit higher discount, and we gave the guarantee that they will get their favorite product. And we saw very, very good return on advertising expense. So sometimes ROI of 10 on new customers, and we can track it very, very accurately. And we saw that especially for brands with a longer consideration phase. So let me just quickly explain that. Users that are in the consideration phase, they're going to buy during Black Week. But you don't want to buy them in the Black Week because you have to pay the higher CPMs. So what you want is to get them logged in and buy the email address before Black Week, and then just email them because you know they will buy anyways. And then you get the emails, and then you have bought them for like, I don't know, 1-2 euros per email address, and you have very good conversion rates because the qualities of the leads are pretty good. So that's a strategy, and we try to get especially in September. We try to really, in September and October, we try to really fill that consideration funnel, really getting a lot of people interested in the brands, just waiting for the offer, and then getting the emails, sending it out, and then you make on a day like a decent 6-figure revenue and have very decent ROI on new customers.
Yeah, it's interesting because last year we did something similar. We saw the exact same numbers, like 10x on like, you acquire an email for €1, they make like 10 euros back. So we run the same exact strategy. I wanted to hear from you as well. Great reassurance. So then a couple of questions I have with that. What is your target cost per email? Do you ever go below €1, or do you typically see the quality be terrible?
So, I mean, a cost per email is hard to say because if you don't have any references for brands, what the quality of that email is, it's hard to really put a euro or dollar sign behind it. So I think everything up to 3-4 euros could be also profitable. Depends really on your value proposition, why they log in or why they opt in. If you're doing like a game, or what it's called,
gamified pop-ups.
Like if you can win something, what is it called?
Giveaway.
Yeah, giveaway. If you're doing a giveaway and people give you their email, obviously these leads are not qualified to buy your product. But if you're doing a dedicated VIP sale where people actually give their email to buy, you have conversion rates up to 20-30%, and there you can pay a decent amount of money for a lead. So 3 to 4 euros, It's not a problem. So we have seen that these emails or these cost per leads are also profitable. So wouldn't generalize here.
Right. So let's say there's a brand who has never run Legion ads. Where do you reference the cost per email? Is it just like you kind of winging it and hoping it would work, or like if you're within the €1 to €5 range, or do you, for example, look at your cost per checkout and then gauge that as like, hey, we would typically, for example, pay €7 for a checkout, where if they abandon it, we get an email. So if we get like €5, we're arbitraging that.
Yeah, so pretty similar to how you calculated. So we use an expected conversion rate that we calculate from the funnel that we had before, add to carts, initiate checkouts and purchase. And then we go backwards and we say, okay, if we have a AOV XYZ, we have a conversion rate of XYZ, what can we pay per lead, and what's something that is reasonable.
Yeah. Okay. My last question for this is: what are the creatives you see perform best? Are you using the same creatives, just sending them to a different landing page, or do you use still images or new creatives entirely?
For lead gen or in general in
Lead gen.
Q4 and Black Friday?
Lead gen specifically.
We saw that image ads perform pretty well.
Yeah.
Probably so in the most times video ads in general perform better, but for lead gen we saw that image ads perform quite well. There's no big difference in performance between video ads and image ads for lead gen, but image ads are much faster to create. That's why cheaper, much faster to create, and also have like not that much spent like on lead gen campaigns that we have on conversion campaigns. That's why we like 99% of the time we choose the cases we choose image ads there.
Okay, great. A lot of insight there. Like for us, this is especially interesting here since we also do a lot of like lead generation for email campaigns for launches and all of that. But now we can take a step back to overall like the Black Friday, Cyber Monday strategy. Or maybe you can lead us to your perfect strategy for or let's say for Q4 in general for the average brand. So right now it is end of September. Most likely this episode will go live in like 3-4 weeks. Let's say right now it's mid to end October. Like what would you do from that point on from scratch if you had to do the best strategy?
So that's a lot. The top three. Okay. Top 3 steps would be really crafting offers. Different offers for different audiences. You need offers for your backend, for your CRM, for your retention, appealing offers. You need offers for your new customers, and really crafting those offers that are competitive. Also, having the right products in those. So what we do is often bundling stuff, but we need hero products in those bundles. So it really makes a difference if you're using product A or B for new customers, because they have different product market fits. So for acquiring new customers, it's much harder. But I see a lot of brands that think they can get new customers. That's like my game, paid social. Your game is the backend. So I see a lot of brands that cannot differentiate between offers for new customers and existing customers. And if we do Q4 workshop with our brands and they pitch the offers that they brainstorm, and I often see that they do not understand that they created offers that are much more appealing to their backend rather than to their front end. So it's really understanding, okay, the first one is like selecting the right products for your front end, making offers, selecting the right products for your back end, making offers. And understanding that these are 2 different games, totally different.
Like
games.
here, like how would they usually differentiate? For at least how I understand from your point right now, like the backend people, they have already bought like the main products, so it usually makes sense for them to sell like complementary products, or how are they usually different from your point of view?
So, for example, if we are taking a skincare brand, it makes sense to really create a lot of great ads for their hero product to acquire new customers during Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and for the backend they could do like routines and everything more of a other strategy, selling more products that are complementary, for example. Mm-hmm. But it does not make sense to use products that are maybe not hero products, have a inferior product market fit, just discount them high and think that they will acquire new customers, because they are not going to. Mm-hmm. And I think that's a misconception, that they think, hey, if I put 20% discount on every product I have, I can acquire new customers. But it needs more than just 20% discount. The product itself needs to work also without discount in the day-to-day business. So that's why we are really strategic on thinking about, okay, what products have the power to acquire new customers, and what products really can also, from a unit economic standpoint, which products can we make a good discount on and sell it through our back end because they have already more trust. Or for example, launching product is also probably more of a back end thing if it's like a complementary product.
Hope you've been enjoying the podcast so far. Here's a word from our sponsor, ourselves. We'll audit your email and SMS marketing to see if and how it can be improved for free. Simply go to agencyjr.com/call. That's agencyj as in Jacob, R as in Reynes.com/call. And let's talk and see how we can make you more money.
So what kind of offers do you typically see crush it best? Is it like you mentioned bundles, but do you just do bundles or do you do site-wide percentage off, buy one, get one free, buy two, get one free?
Depends on the product and the brand. So let's
do two examples because I think the two biggest examples will be one product store. That's option A, and then the option B is like a multi-product store, a store that has at least like 7 SKUs.
So what we are trying to do is to get a decent AOV. So I think for the offer strategy, it depends on the AOV that we need to be profitable. If I have a $30 product or €30 product or €40 product, if I put if I do 30% off, probably I don't have enough to spend on customer acquisition cost to be profitable or to have the target margin that I want to have. So I would always decide I would probably use not a site-wide discount, 30% on everything. I would do, and that's what most of our brands do, is like up to 30% or up to 40%. And then giving the discounts in accordance to or in based on the AOV. So for products and bundles that have a high AOV, we give more discount to incentivize people to spend more. And for products or bundles that have lower AOV, give lower discounts because we want them to have a higher buy-in. Also, we see for most brands, the people that have a higher buy-in, they have also a higher lifetime value because they're more expensive customers to call that. So that's something that we see, and that's why to come back to the question, we always think what target AOV do we need, and then making the offers based on that, and just not putting blind 30% in our store. I mean, if you are Gymtastic or brands that have a higher AOV anyways, because people are buying a t-shirt and shorts and whatsoever, then you can maybe do that 30% to keep it simple. I think that's also very important to like keep it simple. But I would probably say, hey, if you are having AOV of 100 and 30%, then AOV of €60, 20%, 50, 15, and 40, like 10%, and so that you're not coming into a state where you have like €30 AOVs or something, because you're not making money on that, at least in the front end. You can do that in the back end because you don't have to pay for the customer, but front end doesn't work.
Okay, great. So like step one would be offers, testing a lot of offers, creating them for front and back end. So like what would be the second suggestion or tip for a successful launch?
Creative pipeline. Having a creative pipeline, having enough creatives to test, different angles, different content formats, because you don't know what's gonna perform. Like you don't have 100% probability that this creative that worked all the time perform, because if there are offers, if there are sales, there are different laws, different rules, different universal laws for advertisers. So really gathering all the learnings that you have made and trying to increase the probability that you have the most winners. So that's something we try, and often because of you get an offer or you have offers, you don't have to have like the killing copy, the very, very detailed copy and everything. You can like just have a very good value proposition and then the offer, and people will buy. So you don't have to overcomplicate your scripts or anything that in some cases are very hard in the day-to-day business. But I think for Q4, like having enough creatives that can perform and that will perform is very, very important in the front end.
Also, what are some like tips for this like creative pipeline? Like how do you usually structure these teams? How do you ensure there's like a constant flow of new creatives? Maybe some creative creation tips.
Yeah. So, what works for us is to really build the creatives, like really test different hooks and have one script with 10 different hooks. And then using, for example, batches on the creatives with the offers, sometimes also testing the naming. So if you're saying, hey, this is our up to 30% sale, or hey, you can save up to 60 euros. So if you're using percentages or like the absolute number, and you can test all of those things, and really not having like one script and now we're doing one video, or thinking of how can we switch the elements to get different variations of the creatives.
Essentially, like modular creatives. Okay, yeah, like we've seen this being brought up like multiple times. So I think modular creatives is definitely something to start looking into. Okay, Rainis, I think you had some questions.
I guess this question will be better asked after the last step. So. I guess what will be your third most important step or tip for someone to have a successful Black Friday, Cyber Monday?
Having their numbers in place, or having control over the numbers, because if you once lose the overview of your numbers, what are your where your numbers today, what are they maybe on an hourly basis, then you will probably overspend or underspend. And I think especially in Black Friday, Black Week, or even Black Month, it's like it's a time business, right? So it's just you have a limited time and you have to use all the potential in that time, and it costs you so much money to overspend because you burn, but it also costs you so much money to underspend because you have high cost of opportunity. So really having the right controlling in place, understanding your customer acquisition cost, understanding when emails launch, how they can affect the CPMs, which creatives perform well, having like reliable data in the ad account. That's probably the third, or probably the most important, or the third most important thing. And we were using our tracking tool last year in the beta, so it was only available for our agency. And we have been the biggest spending agency in the German-speaking market for Q4, because we had real-time data. Nobody in the market had real-time data, and like Meta from Dublin was calling us and was like, hey guys, how do you scale your campaigns? Like, you're adjusting budget on an hourly rate. What the fuck, what are you doing? You're having these bid caps, you're spending like 200K a day on that account. Like, how can you be that efficient? And we had data and we monitored everything, we controlled everything. We tried to understand the performance on a almost real-time basis, and that's how we always been at the sweet spot of scaling.
Sweet. So what you said it's your tool. Is it just something you built for yourself internally?
No. So it's like a tracking attribution tool, and we have like a lot of especially German brands are using it, and we track basically every channel in real time, and then bring it back also into the ads manager, so you can really sit inside of the ad manager, optimize your campaigns based on our data, so you don't need an additional dashboard. And that's something that, yeah.
Mark, stop gatekeeping the name. Spit it out. Where can people find it, right? Because people need reliable tracking.
Yeah, it's called Tracify. So you can find it on tracify.ai. And we are providing the tracking attribution service to almost every platform, so Google, Facebook, TikTok, and everything. And this is really like a marketing intelligence software that helps you to run your marketing profitably.
Sweet. Okay, so that's great. I have some more specific questions about Black Friday. This is something interesting, and we've previously, like Jacob will remember this, that we were working on a fitness brand, and there was this advertisement from Black Friday. We were running like in the middle of the summer. It literally said like Black Friday sale. It was just performing so well, so we just kept on running it. So what's your opinion on keeping on running Black Friday, Cyber Monday ads after Black Friday? And I'm not talking in December. I'm talking like March, May, so on and so forth.
So I think for the most brands of us, they would say this doesn't fit to our brand. But there might be some crazy guys that want to test it, and it works probably. So I like the idea. Haven't tried it, haven't done it, but I think there should be more brands that are brave enough to test it.
To be fair, we didn't do it intentionally. It was just like a Black Friday ad that was created, and then we just never stopped running it. It was just always outperform everything else. So it's like, okay, like, I mean, I tried, like, I remember I was doing the creatives and I tried switching the title when it didn't say a Black Friday. It's like, it didn't perform. So it like, people might just think it's Black Friday every day now.
Love that.
Yeah. Jacob, do you have anything else regarding Black Friday? Any questions you wanted to ask?
Not in my plate. I think you can ask the ending questions.
Yes. Before the ending questions, I have one thing that's interesting. A while back, we spoke with AdKing's agency, and I got a lot of insights from them talking about who is their ideal brand, what do they look for in the ideal brand to work with. And I think it can give a lot of like self-reflecting questions for brands to ask themselves on how can they improve their finances, so on and so forth. Because like, look, you're scaling. You said you're spending $200K on an account on Black Friday, right? They need to have great finances. They need to have a great product market fit. They need to have some specifics to the brand that allows you to do that, right? Because not every brand can do that. So my question for you would be, what do you look for in an ideal client? From a finance perspective, creative perspective, like anything, just give it all.
Yeah, so this is something that at the end, like 1 year ago, 1.5 years ago, so you could scale every client. You could scale every brand. You could scale every product almost in e-com. But the time changed, and we have been also more selective, and we have an entire due diligence for brands that want to work with us, because we are also investing a lot of resources and energy in those brands, and we need to be sure that they have the potential to really fly. And we are checking transformation and product market fit. We are checking hero products. So is there like a true, like, actually, I think Eugene Schwartz said that once, never create demand, use demand, or something like that. So never like you solve problems where people do not know that there are problems. So always try to find a problem, a symptom that people actually have and are actually also aware of and what to solve. Otherwise, it's going to be hard. So that's something we check. Then we check often if the products are already saturated or something. So if people like heard it like 1,000 times, for example, for beauty brands, hyaluron serums or like all those products that you have seen like 200 times, like we want new products, we want innovative products. That's something we check. Then unit economics. Can they spend a decent customer acquisition cost? Because at the end, if you're scaling, you always have negative economies of scope, of scale and scope. So CAC will go up. And can we afford that scale? That's also something. And retention, yeah.
So sorry, what specifically do you look for there? Do you look for AOV, gross margin, or both? And if so,
yeah,
what are the numbers you aim for?
So we are looking for AOV, and also contribution margin 1 to 3. So we are trying to get the percentage. So ideally, contribution margin 1, 80% or something, even maybe more, and then contribution margin 3 more than like up, like 50% is minimum, and everything below above 60-70% would be great.
So can you please define contribution margin?
So it's like it's your net sales. subtracted by your not customer acquisition cost, by your product cost, like variable product cost, and then minus transaction cost and everything.
Gotcha.
And then minus customer acquisition cost. Or not
Gotcha.
customer acquisition cost, all the other stuff. Yeah. And then you have a CM3 margin.
Sweet. Okay.
So, and yeah, that's what we are looking at. Retention, obviously, what are lifetime values? Because for a lot of brands, we cannot buy customers profitably at the scale they want it. And it's also not necessary because they have the lifetime values and the retention rate. And I think these are the most important things.
Right.
And also, one thing is also important, if the audience really have a purchasing power. So wouldn't advertise to people 18 to 25. I think that's a hard audience. So like everything above 30 is like much more interesting.
Okay, fair. For LTV, what typically do you see the discrepancy between CAC and LTV? Is it like 1 to 2 or is it 1 to 3? Like for the brands you can see it really scale, or is it like maybe less than that, 1 to 1.5?
It depends obviously on the time frame we are looking at. So for example, on it, I think 90 days it should be 1 to 2, 1 to 3. Ideally.
Right.
Or 6 months, 1 to 2, 1 to 3. I don't have an average there to be honest.
Gotcha.
It depends. It depends on the brand. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Fair. Because I think that was something, because we were looking to invest it in a brand, and we saw their CAC versus their LTV, and like I know what kind of that was for a multi 8-figure brand. I haven't seen this in large enough scale, so I was just curious. But yeah, fair. And now I think we can dive into the most interesting question we have of the podcast. This is completely unrelated to anything we've asked. Jacob, you do the honors, my friend.
Let's figure out something funnier this time. Maybe you have a funnier idea for the question, Reynes.
I have the same question as Jem.
What's happening?
I have the same question as Jem.
Forgot the question. Maybe you can remind me, Reynes.
Okay, so. Would you prefer? So would you prefer your balls and ears swapping places, or your cock and your nose swapping places?
It's a question with a deeper meaning. There's like a marketing insight there as well.
Yeah, definitely. 100%.
So, I don't know who's listening to that podcast.
Look, people with e-commerce money, like most of them are rich degenerates, so this is an exact question they will want to hear an answer to.
We need an answer.
I would go for the first one.
So balls and ears.
Yeah.
Okay, that has been the most popular answer so far.
Yeah, I think it's more natural. It suits more.
Suits more natural.
You just wear headphones and no one knows.
Yeah.
All right, great.
It was like truly out of context.
Yes. It didn't need context. Like it's just good to entertainment value. Someone will clip that, and like 50 years down the line, this clip will haunt you.
Love that.
But all right, I think it's been a very amazing, value-packed episode. A lot of technical, tactical, strategic stuff. So before we end, like, where can the people find you? What's your agency name, and where should they look for you?
So I think the easiest way to contact me is through LinkedIn. So just, you can put my link into the bio, Marc Weindinger. And if you want to work with my agency, check Schema-M, or what's
dash. English dash. Is dash.
Yeah, Schema-M.com, or if you're interested in the tracking, the attribution software, it's tracify.ai. But anyhow, just message me on LinkedIn.
All right, amazing. It's been a pleasure. Thank you, and bye-bye.
If you thought this episode is valuable, share it with a friend that may find this useful and leave a 5-star review so we can reach more influential people and bring the lessons back to you. See you in the next episode.